Throughout the history of the League of Legends competitive scene, champions have always been picked for their strength and compatibility with the meta. While we have seen most champions played on the competitive stage, there are some that are rarely played by the professionals. Off-meta is dedicated towards these heroes whose faces never appear in Champion Select. We analyze their history of play and get to the bottom of why they are never considered meta in League of Legends. My name is Kudo, and today on Off-Meta we look at Teemo's history in the professional scene. If there is a champion that most of the community considers notorious and affiliated with hate, it would be Teemo. This Yordle has garnered a significant reputation as being the most annoying and most frustrating champion to play against, and it is all due to his kit. Teemo has the capacity to frustrate his laning opponents. His blinding dart prevents auto-attacking and can nullify enemy spells. Teemo's auto-attack is enhanced by Toxic Shot, which damages the target for 4 seconds after the projectile lands on the champion. To top it off, Teemo's ultimate Noxious Trap plants mushrooms all across the map, and when the opponent runs into one, they are heavily damaged. These abilities can bully all kinds of normal top laners in the early game, making laning phase completely miserable for the opponent. One blinding dart can make the difference in a skirmish, especially when used against the AD carry. The mushrooms can finish off kills or chunk health bars without needing Teemo to be present nearby. With this kit, why is Teemo not seen as viable in the League of Legends professional scene? Why at no point in this 8-year-old game has Teemo ever been considered meta? To answer this question, let's dive into the history of Teemo picks throughout the professional League of Legends scene. We begin at the first League of Legends World Championship. It was Team Solo Mid vs Epic Gaming in the losers bracket semifinals. On the TSM roster was the Rain Man. The Rain Man was considered the best Teemo player of North America. He was ranked number 1 with that champion, and he originated a build that would emphasize tank and on-hit stats rather than pure ability power. The Rain Man's core build would be double Dorans for sustain and Frozen Mallet for the tank stats and on-hit slow. Other items included the Wriggle's Lantern and Madred's Razor. By maxing his darts and building attack speed, Teemo would do serious damage with his auto attacks and would be accompanied by the slow and on-hit magic damage from Madred's Razor. Teemo would be used to split push throughout the game. Teemo's World Championship debut was met with joy by freaking the community.
Do it, Raymond, do it.
Oh, wow.
Yes!
Oh, we are going to see our first Teemo.
Oh, God, I'm going to ruin my voice, but Captain Teemo and Freak's doing the fist bump jumping.
Freak is dancing back and forth in the tournament area right now. I don't think he can contain himself. I see tears coming out of his eyes. Multiple fist bumps.
This pick was meant to counter Dyrus' Singed in the top lane. With the help of the Odd One, the Rain Man was able to obtain first blood. In the middle to late game, Rain Man was able to secure multiple kills during team fights. All Rain Man did was auto-attack freely without any struggle. Epic prioritized other members of TSM, so Rain Man had no issues in these fights. He finished the game with a win and 14 kills. Rain Man would go on to use Teemo again in the losers bracket grand finals, but fell to Against All Authority. This time Rain Man used Teemo to fulfill the AD carry position. It was a quick match and TSM couldn't stop the snowball from Against All Authority. In the team fights, Soas's Vayne shredded Teemo. However, Rain Man wasn't done using Teemo in competitive play. He picked him twice in IEM Kiev vs Dignitas and SK Gaming. TSM won both games. Despite having 3 wins in the top lane, Rain Man's Teemo pick happened in very specific circumstances. Rain Man only picked Teemo when he knew who he was laning against. That way, Teemo can lane comfortably and bully his opponent. Teemo would not be seen in competitive play for the next year and a half. On September 21st, 2013, Day 6 of the Season 3 World Championship and the second to last game of Group Stage, Team Solo Mid was going up against international wildcard team Gaming Gear EU. This game did not matter whatsoever as both TSM and Gaming Gear EU were mathematically eliminated from the tournament. With nothing to play for but pride, Reginald did this.
So that's what we're going to be looking at doing.
He's a strong jungler and coming in and ganking lanes just for harass as well. All right, we warned you.
Yep, there it is. That gets a bit of a standing ovation from the Teemo lovers, but we cannot lie. Any Teemo lover is also a Teemo hater. So it's a love-hate relationship.
Reginald then proceeded to obtain first blood at level 1 using Teemo's stealth passive.
Oh, man.
He's not that furry, I guess. He's covered in the spacesuit.
Right on top of him. He's got to be running out of oxygen. He's going to come out soon. Oh, the flash flame, but they go for Sona. Some of the lowest HP in the beginning of the game. Reggie gets first blood for Reginald, but he goes down valiantly.
All right. Reggie gets the badge for sneak attack.
Right out the gate.
He's earned it.
Gaming Gear won this match easily due to TSM's lack of seriousness. This would be Reginald's final game as the starting mid laner for Team Solo Mid. He would relinquish the starting position in favor of Bjergsen and serve as the substitute for Season 4. We jump 1 month ahead to the Garena Premier League 2014 winner split. The Singapore Sentinels are up against the Saigon Fantastic Five on day 2 of week 1 in the season. Chowie, the Singapore Sentinels AD carry at the time, picked Teemo in the bot lane.
And before the match, let me tell you, I asked him any tips, and I was actually just asking him, Kyling, for any tips for shoutcasting. He said, watch out for Teemo. I was like, yeah, right.
Chowie opted to build Teemo with ability power but in the AD carry position. His reasoning was because at this period of time, more teams were venturing away from the standard AD carry and support bot lane in favor of bruisers and assassins. Chowie's philosophy with Teemo put a major emphasis on Noxious Trap. Chowie opted to obtain Twin Shadows first. Not only was there ability power, but more importantly, movement speed. After level 6, Chowie wanted to start placing mushrooms all over the map, and the movement speed combined with Teemo's W helps a lot. Twin Shadows also offers defensive stats such as magic resist and the ghost that slows enemies. Chowie would then build Liandry's Torment afterwards to significantly increase damage to the mushrooms. Chowie's early game against Saigon Fantastic Five was rather easy. Because the meta put emphasis on top and bottom lane swaps, Chowie laned against Yorick and farmed nicely with the help of support Annie. In the mid game, Chowie obtained kills through support Annie's initiation with Tibbers against a very squishy Sona and Twitch. The Singapore Sentinels won this game easily. Chowie's reason why he didn't pick Teemo often in competitive play was due to the Oracle's Elixir, a 400 gold item that reveals stealth units like wards and more primarily Teemo shrooms. However, this item was removed from the game in Season 4 in favor of the brand new trinket system. Chowie says, I feel Teemo will be seen more in the professional play because of his noxious traps with oracles removed. I guess we'll be seeing more solo lane Teemo rather than duo lane Teemo. With this prediction in mind, we now move on to the 2014 spring split of the North American LCS. In the first game of the season, Cloud9 goes up against Team Solo Mid. High picks Teemo in the mid lane.
Really, mentality for balls is something that always keeps him in the game. You can put him on any champion.
Listen. No.
Welcome to the North American LCS.
This pick once again shocked the entire community considering it was the first match of the season and that Hai never had a competitive history with Teemo. Similar to Chowie, Hai utilized Teemo with an emphasis on map control using Noxious Trap. With the mid lane, Teemo has the ability to obtain map control with whatever objective desired by the team, and if Cloud9 gets ahead, Hai is able to practically make all of the map a minefield. And that is exactly what happened. Cloud9 took every single objective of that game. When TSM was behind, they were forced to turtle in their base because of the minefield. This gimmicky strategy to start off the season worked for Cloud9. In fact, Hai's performance on Teemo cost XTG in the next game to ban Teemo.
Right? And people are always just like, oh, maybe he's top 5.
Really?
It happened.
Really?
See, it took Darien a couple tries to get Warwick banned. It happened on the first try for Hai. That's got to mean something, right?
Yeah.
One thing to consider about the justification of Hai's Teemo pick was the state of the meta in the spring of 2014. With the removal of the Oracle's Elixir in favor of the new Sweeping Lens trinkets, the efficiency to remove mushrooms decreased significantly. Also, another thing to note was the duration of Teemo shrooms during this meta. It was 10 minutes. As of 2018, that number is halved to only 5 minutes. Without a doubt, this meta was the best time for Teemo to shine. However, he would not be picked for the remainder of 2014. Since 2014, only 3 Teemo games out of the next 12 would be wins. 2 from So's Perfect in the European Challenger Series and Avenue from the Turkish Championship League. The most high-profile picks of Teemo in these remaining games did not have a serious strategy to them. In the summer of 2016, Shy of CJ Entis and Someday of KT Rolster picked Teemo in the same exact week. However, this was merely a coincidence. Both of these picks were mistakes, and due to the LCK rules, they were unable to restart the game. Someday elaborated saying, "We were supposed to go for Tom Kench, but we made a typo which made us lock in Teemo by mistake. And I thought nothing good would come from blaming Fly, so I tried to be positive." In the 2016 NALCS Summer Split, Hanser locks in Teemo.
Taking that time!
He's gonna do it! Captain Bjergsen on duty!
The only reason why we saw Teemo was because of a tweet sent by Reginald. 20,000 retweets for a Teemo pick. When that goal was met, nobody but Hanser wanted to play Teemo against NRG.
Ah, he's adorable! But
Look at the first blood spin, knocks him out! Damage!
poison!
No! What? Barely lives on! No! It's a disaster! But Teemo was fooling.
The most recent pick of Teemo came from Wonder in the 2017 European LCS. Once again, this was not a serious pick.
If someone text Splice and tell them it's not fun to have a Teemo anymore?
Not 3 times in a row.
I think what we're gonna see, if we're gonna see anything funny from them, it's gonna be Wonder again in the top lane.
Oh, but he did it.
Okay.
The absolute madmen. Lock the Teemo in for Splice Boys. They're going in.
The evolution of Teemo in competitive play started from being a gimmick strategy to purely being a troll pick. At no point was Teemo ever consistently played. Out of all the VODs available, there is 2 significant reasons why Teemo is considered weak in the professional stage. First off, Teemo cannot adequately fulfill the requirements needed from any role in a high tier level of play. Throughout Teemo's history, we see him bounce from the top lane to AD carry to the mid lane. However, each lane requires specific attributes from its champions to be considered useful. For example, Teemo is mostly seen in the top lane. However, most top lane champions in the meta require significant presence in teamfighting as well as the ability to be in the front line. Teemo has none of that. Teemo and teamfights require positioning in the backline and can easily be targeted and deleted by assassins. The lack of teamfight presence is something professionals cannot afford to have. That's why Gnar and Ornn are particularly popular in the meta at the moment. While Teemo might be able to exert pressure in the laning phase, Teemo is unable to scale for the middle and late game. Can Teemo be played in the mid lane like Hyde did? Well, not really. The mid lane requires champions whose primary damage is on spells as well as other attributes like hard crowd control, the ability to initiate, and the potential to exert tons of damage in teamfights. Once again, Teemo fits none of these categories. Teemo in the bot lane is incredibly useless. Even when you build AD on him, other AD carries will outright bully him over the range disparity as well as lack of AD scaling abilities. I won't even go into detail with Teemo support or Teemo jungle. The second reason for Teemo's weakness in the meta is the fact that in-game items counter Teemo's greatest strength, Noxious Trap. All an opposing team has to do is build multiple Oracle's Alteration and any minefield will be instantly decimated. This trinket makes Teemo's late game presence completely and utterly useless. When you take away Noxious Trap, you're left with just teamfighting, which Teemo is unable to contribute as much as other champions. Teemo is simply countered by the fundamentals of the meta and the current items designed to counter stealth. And with the uniqueness of his kit, I cannot think of any buffs that would put him in the meta that won't make him completely overpowered. We may not see Teemo ever played seriously in the professional scene for a long time, and maybe for the sake of the community, that might be a good thing. My name is Kudo, and thank you for watching my video on Teemo. If you would like to suggest any champions for off-meta, feel free to comment on the description below. Thank you for watching and see you in the future.
Hey man, it doesn't matter, it's party time here, woo! I got some cosplayers, I got some hot grills, I obviously have the best cosplay here, I am Teemo, it took me all night to make this, but guys, where's Greg? It's time to get this party started, alright!